Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 88 of Odd Musings. We're here outside of the studio, surviving the polar vortex here. And let's see, requests. There we go. We're allowing requests so that Brett can join us. Unfortunately, we had to forego the experience of going out through the snow and everything, even though I've already been out there. Let's see here. Make it level. Sorry about the shaking camera. All right. Trying to be optimistic here about the... Now I think I'm crooked the other way. OCD is kicking in. Let's get that right. There we go. Anyways, I did have to try to go out in the polar vortex earlier for my real estate stuff here. And try and be optimistic about the weather. I'll do a pan up. There we go. There's a nice shot of the water over there. Wishing for a sunny day so that we could have warmer temps. Actually wearing a long sleeve shirt today. Oh, there we go. Wearing a long sleeve shirt today, which is rare for me. I'm almost always in short sleeve shirts. I think when I was looking for a long sleeve shirt today, I only had one I could wear. I can't find my other ones. I think I own like 2 or 3 total. So hopefully all of you are staying warm out there. We have a fun episode here today. We're going to be talking about a couple things. Got my little notes here. And let's see, do we have requests coming in from Brett? Hopefully I have this right. Because it says allow viewers, yes. Because this is a brand new phone for me. I had to go get a new phone. My old phone reached the end of its life and I had to turn it in. It wouldn't charge anymore. So it's ridiculous the way phones are now. This phone, it's going to cost something like $800 if you bought it outright. And it's insane how much these are. I would have preferred my old phone just because I had no payments on it. I've owned it for like 3 years or so. And that's always nice. But today's episode, what are some things we're going to be talking? One of them, of course, is the Orville is in season 2. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're 3 or 4 episodes into the season now. We had some character changes occur. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, we're going to be going to have a recap on the frozen fish fiasco that occurred this weekend. Run by our friend and part of our Odd Musings team in an indirect way, Dominic Reggio. His frozen fish fiasco was this weekend. A successful event, as always, occurred. Good times for everyone with the Red Wing alumni, and also the 501st was there. We had a good turnout for the 501st, so that was nice. Very cold. It's an outdoor event. I was wearing my Stormtrooper, but we'll cover that in a little bit. Other things we're going to talk about. Oh, it's the anniversary just occurred from 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. We'll just share thoughts on where we were at the time. And feel free to post your thoughts when we get to that part. And then the other thing is Game of Thrones Season 1 is... my father is going rewatching all that. So I do want to bring all that. Actually, for him, it's watching the first time. And he's managed to go through all this time with social media and everything, never knowing anything about Game of Thrones. So for him, it's truly a first-time event for him. So it's fun listening to that as he experiences everything for the first time. So, all right. So we still don't have Brett joining us. So hopefully everything's okay and he can join us. On that note, while I'm waiting for him to join, I'm going to keep moving forward. And what we'll do is I will actually talk about that. So my dad, he's never watched Game of Thrones before. Knew nothing about it, managed to avoid... Not that he was trying to avoid spoilers, but he never saw any spoilers about Game of Thrones. So he has no clue what's happening. And about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, he decided they were going to watch Game of Thrones and go through it and see what this is all about. And they're going to go on a marathon, get it all binged, and have that way when the next season of Game of Thrones starts, they'll know what's going on and they can watch the next season along with everybody else. So it's been really interesting. He's in season 3 now, I believe. So it's just fun to hear him talk about the different episodes as they occur. Since I've watched it all along, I know what's happening, but it's so fun to watch the reactions, and it reminds me, like of certain events, like oh, that's right, that was shocking when that happened, or oh yeah, that character seemed like such an important part of the puzzle at the time, and later on you've learned where that character actually falls in the storyline. So it's kind of fun to watch, and I've been having a good time with that. So let's see here. Where are you, Brett? Let's see. No viewers. I wonder if I can add viewers. Let me try to invite him. No, it's not letting me invite him. He's going to have to invite himself. Let's see. What else can we do, Brett, to get you in here? I'm not seeing it anywhere. So, I'll keep going. This weekend was the Frozen Fish Fiasco. Had a blast there. And Dominic puts that on. It's for Clark Park. It's the only outdoor ice arena in Michigan. And I believe it's in all of Michigan. Definitely in Detroit, if not. No, it's in Detroit, I believe. Anyways, he puts on this charity. They do not receive any state or funding or anything like that. So they rely heavily on this charity event to stay open. And Dominic's been doing this for many years now. This is the third or fourth year that I've been part of it through the 501st. And it truly is a fiasco, as Dominic likes to call it, because it's got a little bit of everything. You got hockey. You have all these different teams playing all weekend long. It's Saturday and Sunday. And everyone's having a blast. You got everyone from little, I don't know what the youngest age is, but there were kids that look like as young as 6 or 7 playing, all the way up to full, adults. And the big marquee event is Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m., where the UAW, which is a major sponsor of the charity, their team plays against the Detroit Red Wings alumni. So it's a really good time for everyone, and it's fun to see all the greats come back out. Mickey Redmond, he's always there. He's amazing. Here we go. I think we got Brett. I think we got him. Let's see here. We will approve you. Add you to camera. And drum roll him. It says it's adding him. Where is he?
Hey.
There he is.
All right.
How are you doing,
Just
sir?
Good. Let me get this set up here. All right. There we go. Sorry. I was drinking my butter beer.
Oh, you are a terrible man.
Yes.
Rubbing it in.
Yeah, so what'd you get covered so far while I was actually trying to get connected up here?
Yeah, no problem. I wasn't sure if it was on my end or not, since this is a brand new phone for me. I had to get a new phone. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my phone decided to stop recharging last week, so.
Well, you had the Galaxy 7, right?
Yeah, I had the 7. So now I've got S8 Plus. So
okay,
great to that. So.
Yeah, that's why I had a 7 before too. I went with the Note 9 because of the same problem. It just stopped. It was charging, but it was just not holding a charge long. I was constantly having to plug it in and recharge it, walk around with the battery back.
Right. So I was just saying, I was just recapping while we were waiting. I went through how my dad started watching Game of Thrones, and everything's fresh for him. So it's been fun listening to him respond to different story arcs and character things, and because he doesn't know what's happening. He never followed any of the spoilers or anything, so it's all brand new for him. He's around season 3, so that's just been very fun to watch. And that's then cool. The other thing I covered is I started talking about the frozen fish fiasco.
Okay, and, yeah, how'd that go this weekend?
We froze our tauntauns off. It was cold. This was definitely the coldest I've done. I've been doing it 3 or 4 years now for the frozen fish fiasco. It was great though, because the first year I did it, there was only me by myself. The second year we had 2. Last year we had 3 people. And then this year we actually had 7 total troopers out there. So it was a good time.
Including I hear you had our secret Asian man, Al Tong.
That's right. Al was there. It was good to catch up with him. We don't get to cross paths with Al much just because his work schedule is different from ours, and um,
Right.
but he was doing well. He was a real trooper. He was out there like nonstop. We kept rotating, coming inside to warm up and going back out. But he was he was something. He barely warmed up. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of the Red Wings that were there, we had Mickey Redmond, we had Darren McCarty, he's a regular there. Tiger Brandon Inge was there signing autographs.
Oh,
So,
I should have had you get me one.
oh, okay. Yep, he was there. Actually, talk to Dominic. He's the man. He knows everybody
Yes.
now.
I swear, we turn around, he's got like a new like sports comic he's talking about doing, and of
Hmm.
course tying in people to his Donnybrook series and everything else. So
Yep, and
he's
I
the
believe
man.
he talked to Brandon Inge about that even. But yeah, so exciting stuff for Dominic. I got to talk to him yesterday. He has some good things coming from the frozen fish fiasco that I hope materializes. That's his news to share, though, if it happens. So I'm not going to go into any
Okay.
detail, but definitely exciting stuff for Dominic, and we're excited for him.
Well, it's
So what
supposed to be
about
warm
you?
enough next week. We should be, yeah, it's supposed to be warm enough next week. We'll be in the studio. Maybe we can catch up with Dominic then. So.
Definitely. How about you? What have you been up to this week?
Well, I actually I worked through Sunday because of the snow we had on Monday. I decided to take the day off and not brave the elements and be out and about. It just I've done a couple days already with some snow and ice. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm a little bit over it now. I need to take a break. And
Yeah.
then with this now polar vortex, so basically I've been doing just stuff around the house. I did do errands yesterday morning because it was not cold enough yet where I couldn't go out. So I ran some stuff I needed to do yesterday. Went and saw our sponsor, Lorangers. I'll talk about them in a minute too, and then today is just gonna be more stuff around here. This is kind of doing the show today is a little bit of a highlight of what I've got going on, other than things I want to do around here and work on some new projects. Was working on the schedule last night a little bit for my conventions this year. I've got to get all that out and published because we got that coming up pretty good. But yeah, it's kind of been exciting. I did catch up on some shows. So I did watch the Orville, which we'll talk about here in a little while.
Yep. I
Real
mentioned we're
excited
going to
about
be
that.
talking about Orville season 2. Also, I
Yep.
thought it'd be spend a little bit of time at some point in the show. Just it was the Shuttle Challenger explosion anniversary, I guess you would call it, 1986. Could do a brief talk about that too, just what we were doing, maybe recollect that.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I was always a huge fan of you know, stuff going on in space and things like that. Sorry, something popped up on my screen here. I was just seeing who was commenting. So
It's PJ.
yeah, it's PJ. I hadn't seen PJ in a while, so
PJ's
um,
doing an account of your day. He wants to know how busy are you on a normal day, Brett Arpinson.
busy. I'm busy all the time. Geez, if I'm
You
not
are
working and
busy.
doing stuff, I'm sleeping. So, and even then, not sleeping that much sometimes. But
We've both been very
um,
nonstop this past year.
yeah, well, there's goals we have, things we're
Yep.
working towards. We're getting our lives. We've been talking about this before, getting back on track with you with real estate, me with using the shift and that stuff, and then still following some of those dreams and passions we have. So,
Yep. Takes a
that's
lot of
that's
work to try
that's
to
part of
keep
the thing
those
here.
alive.
Right, and that's what it is on that. So, but yeah, I was catching up on some shows. Not a whole lot. I watched a couple episodes of the Marvelous Miss Maisel, which won several SAG awards over the weekend. That's on Amazon. I still haven't started Punisher yet, but I just saw Punisher got renewed for a third season, which surprised me considering they canceled everything else.
Interesting.
So, and that was on, I think it was on ain'titcool.com was talking about that, or what? Yeah, here it is.
That's actually
Nice about
very
having the computer
shocking.
in front of me. Yeah, so
Hey, my daughter
they,
Ashley is tuning in. Hey, Ash.
hey Ashley, how you doing? So yeah, we got Ashley. I got my aunt Sandy watching. Lisa's watching. Hey, Lisa. Um, for those that are watching that happen to be local to Michigan, we'll do a giveaway this if anybody wants to, and try to get some free tickets out there. I did have a post that's going up though. Let me talk about that real quick before we go on. It's going to go up at 11 o'clock. It's got our hashtag hashtag Odd Musings GLCC, and it's a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Great Lakes Comic Con, and we'll go over our sponsor of them in a little bit too. But yeah, so I've catched up with a couple shows since I had a couple days actually, and Going through my DVR and watched a few episodes of Supernatural. I'm still about several episodes behind that. The Marvelous Miss Maisel one, like I said, over at the SAG Awards, I've been watching that season. I think I got like 2 episodes left of that. That's a pretty good series. It's a period piece. It's a very interesting take on the comedy world back in the late 50s. And seeing how they deal with the different characters that come in out of that one. And what's his name from Chuck is in that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Zachary Levi. And of course, he's going to be in the second Captain Marvel movie coming out this year.
Some would say the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he was around before the Marvel one. So it's an interesting take. We're not going to get into that whole thing because that's a big, deep, long discussion. But
maybe when Captain Marvel comes out, the Marvel version of Captain Marvel, maybe just give a little history on that whole backstory because it is an interesting one.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do an episode on that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, very cool.
And so that's kind of what's been going on with me. Just working a lot, trying to get some stuff done, and finding out my schedule. Just adding places I'm going. A couple shows I'm going to this year. I don't have tables for at this time, like Denver and now San Diego. So. Looking forward to those, as well as Lucky and all the other shows that I have scheduled this year. And I just got to get the schedule up online so people know where I'm going to be at this year.
All right. Well, one show that we're both locked into is the Great Lakes Comic Book Convention. Comic Convention. Great Lakes Comic Convention.com.
Yeah.
And do you have the dates in front of you there, Brett? There they are.
It is February 22nd and 23rd.
In reverse.
It's a Friday night from 5 to 9, and then Saturdays like 10 to 6.
And
the ticket we're doing is a 1-day pass.
Children under a certain age get in free, don't they? 10.
Yes.
Is it 10?
I believe it's 10 or 12.
Go check it out on GreatLakesComicConvention.com. Is it Comic Convention or Comic Book Convention?
I believe. Well, I'll find out. I have the computer in front of me, so hey.
There you go. Brett's like my oracle. he's got the whole computer set up.
Yeah, it's GreatLakesComicConvention.com, and we should have a link on Odd Musings. We don't. But tickets. If you want to buy tickets, they're not very expensive. Friday admission, pre-sale price is $10. Ticket cost in advance $15. Same thing with Saturday. Or for $25 at the door or $20 pre-sale, you can get a weekend, the 2-day pass. Children ages 10 and under get in free.
There you
go. It's not a bad deal. I mean, heck, you could take go on Saturday alone. If you pre-buy your tickets, a mom and dad and 2 kids under 10 can go for $20. You can't beat that. Yeah. It's going to be a great time. And they got a lot of cool guests coming out too. So that's, I think, one of the fun parts is they got a different type of comic convention guests that we haven't seen before. So,
and we have a 4-pack to give away. Is that correct?
That is correct. We're giving away a 4-pack, so that way, if you have kids who are younger, they don't need the tickets, but then you can also bring extra people with you if you need to do that, or if you have teenagers, because a lot of teenagers like to come out to Comic-Cons.
That's right.
So we've got the 4-pack given away, so we can do. Those that are watching live right now, if you guys stay with us, you want to. If someone posts by the end of the episode that they're interested, and all those that do, we'll go through and randomly choose someone and email them and message them through Facebook. Just say you've just won some tickets. But we're doing another 4-pack giveaway on the Facebook page. You have to like our page, Odd Musings. So it's facebook.com/oddmusings. Like the page, comment under that post with the hashtag in there. And on February 13th, on the live episode, we'll do hopefully from the studio. But we will be live, at least on the Facebook. From there, we will draw or we'll have a randomly generated number chosen. We'll let who knows the winner is. Contact them and see if we can get them their tickets.
There you go. So do it.
Yeah. So that should be fun.
So talking about the shows we've been watching, have you watched Punisher season 2?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
So all I'll talk about is I think this is spoiler-free stuff. So far, I'm 5 episodes in now, I think. I'm really enjoying it. Really like it. I will say the only disappointment I have is Jigsaw. He's the main villain in this. We kind of saw his origin story in season 1 of Punisher. And my only disappointment is Jigsaw's supposed to be like horribly disfigured, and all they did is put a couple of scars on him.
Okay.
it's like he's supposed to be like so
Well,
broken up and so disfigured from the Punisher, and they just look like
maybe
bad
as it goes
puppies.
on, because it's 13 episode season, maybe the Punisher's going to whoop on him a little bit and really mess his face up, and then by the end of the season, he
That's
looks full
possible.
Jigsaw as you know.
That's possible. So, but that's my only disappointment. Otherwise, though, John Bernthal, is that how you say his last name? Bernthal. Um,
Bernthal, yes.
he's amazing as the Punisher. He really is. So I'm glad this was the first I heard that season three's been renewed. So I'm excited for that. I really like it.
Yeah, it just got announced. It got announced 6 days ago. It says here. And I was surprised, and it's ain'titcool.com, which is a very reputable site for this stuff. Um, but it's funny, people are commenting saying, "Well, don't get too excited because the other Netflix series were planning that too." But they were all canceled pretty much right away after they launched on the streaming service.
Well,
So it
not
was,
only were they canceled, they were all rushed. Their airing dates were all moved up, almost like they were just trying to clear the house.
yeah. Well,
So
I'm wondering if with a third season of Punisher, they're going to bring in Daredevil for that one, and try to wrap up the entire storyline, because it's kind of what's left open right now is more dealing with the Punisher and a little bit of Daredevil there. So maybe there's going to be some tie-ins to that, and that's why
yeah,
they'll call it
like
the
one
Punisher
final
season.
go.
Yeah, instead of calling it like a Defenders or anything like that, it's just Punisher season 3, and they can bring in Daredevil, and we can get another look at Charlie as the Daredevil. So that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. I mean, I've been disappointed they were canceling these series. Not so much for Luke Cage and Iron Fist, but for Daredevil especially. I was really disappointed because
Yeah.
that last season was fantastic.
Hmm.
And even though they wrapped up that kind of storyline there, there's still left to tie in with the Punisher.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see on that. So, but yeah, I still got to watch that one. I got to start watching that one. That's my next series to start watching an episode or two here and there when I get a chance.
Now I wonder if that could possibly mean also, could it be Marvel's end where maybe Marvel does have potential plans for Daredevil on their side of things, either in the movies or the TV, so they want those canceled, but maybe they have no Punisher plan, so they're allowing Netflix to move forward.
It's possible. It's definitely possible on that. It'd be interesting to see on that. I think having the Daredevil, having Froggy and all them available for other Marvel series outside of Netflix is a smart way to go, because they're a great way to tie in more of the Marvel universe by having this lawyer aspect. I mean, I was hoping
Well,
they'd always do the She-Hulk bit because she was a lawyer too, and that would have
yeah,
been great to have them tie in there.
yeah. Based on what I've read, it's near impossible that if they do Daredevil on the Marvel side, they'll keep the current cast though. Sounds like they don't want anything to do with. It's that whole rift between Marvel movies and Marvel TV. They don't want anything to do with it, and but I thought
That's the
Charlie
one thing
Cox has been
I'm
amazing
disappointed.
as Daredevil.
Oh, he is. He's fantastic. He's perfect. He's hit the role right. He's done the lawyer side right. He's done the Daredevil side right. I liked him a lot as that. He really epitomized the role. And to get somebody else, I think they will always compare him to him.
Yeah, I agree. Um, and you said you were caught up on Orville.
I did. I watched it last night. I missed last week's episode with working. I forgot last week was Thursday. Of course, getting back in town and everything. I've still been off since I got back from Florida, and which day is what. But I got watched it last night. Not my favorite of the season. It was an okay episode overall. They introduced the new character. We have a new security chief who is
Yeah.
also the same planet as the previous one.
And I have to say I'm highly disappointed. I do not like the new character. Alara was probably my favorite character on the whole show.
Yeah.
And when we had the other episode, and oh, spoiler alert for anybody watching. When we were watching the other episode and she decided to go back home to her family, I'm like, there's no way they're getting rid of her. And then now she's being replaced, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not happy with the new one. And I don't like the attitude of the new one. She just, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, looking up, I was looking up after that last episode with Halston, and it sounds almost like it was her. She was the one that she was the reason she wanted to leave to pursue other interests for some reason. I don't know why. Sounds like she's working on a couple movies where she's writing and trying to write and direct or something like that. So
Well, her value probably went up quite a bit after Orville. So,
yeah, and then she was around for other movies, and she was she in? She was in. Oh, she's in that Scouts Guide to the Apocalypse a couple years ago. So she's been around for a little bit. So and
Yeah.
maybe she's getting other offers. And as we watched in that, the first season of the Orville, we know that they were kind of setting up to almost be like a one season, like they weren't sure if it was going to continue on. And maybe she was thinking that, okay, I'll do this for this one season, and
Right.
then go on and do the other stuff
Well,
I want
and
to do. She's also
yeah.
younger.
And she's also playing an alien, and sometimes for people, the makeup process is too much too. It could be that.
Yeah, and it could be. And hers wasn't too bad though. She still had the stuff up here and
Yeah, and
things
they
like
they
that. So
greatly simplified her costume too. I mean, she had big changes between episode 1 and 2 or 3, something like that, even with her own
yeah.
look. So
But
it
I looked
definitely
up
made it
the
more
new gal.
easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at this new gal, Jessica Zora. I was again not crazy about it. That could be just the first episode. Got to give it a chance, maybe a little ease her character in. But um, it sounds like she's going to be one of those ones that I mean, she hit her previous commanding officer, but when she clarified, I was like, oh, well, it sounds like she needed to do that because of the other alien race they were dealing with. So it makes
Right.
sense and in that. But I was looking to see where she's been around. She was in Ted too, so that's how she knows Seth MacFarlane.
Okay.
And she's done a few other shows. She's been around. She was like a Nickelodeon kid for a while, and then popped around different series and that. So I thought she looked familiar, and I know I've seen her in a couple movies and TV shows and that. She was on Shameless for a while. So I'll give her a chance, but I'm like you. I really liked Laura a lot. I thought it was a great character, and I hadn't read where she was leaving. I missed that over the summer, and when
Yeah,
that
that was a
episode
total
ended, and she
surprise to
said,
me.
yeah, so I was really surprised on that. But it's an interesting episode last night, though. What do you take about this whole world with that advanced society, but they still based everything on astrology?
Well, they were. Well, I don't think they were advanced. The issue was like they were just starting to reach out to the stars. So that
Right, but
like
if you look at the cities, they had big cities, but they also had a pretty
right.
good medical. I mean, they were not
Yeah.
as far advanced as the Union, but they were definitely
I think they
a
were
little bit
supposed
past
to
where I think we're
represent
at now.
I think they were supposed to kind of represent us, Earth,
Yeah,
like even like, but then they kind of made it a slightly twisted version of Earth. But no, I think it's interesting. I do wonder if down the road, they created that false star to trick them into believing something
yeah.
different. So I wonder if that will become a storyline down the road where these people figure out it was a fake. But overall, I
I
thought
would
it was
think so. I mean, they have satellites, so
yeah, I thought
with
it
them
was a
having
good
satellites,
episode.
you'd think they would.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
good episode, but overall, like you, I think it was my least favorite of the season so far. Um,
Mhm.
I think part of it though might just be because I don't like that Alara's gone and they got this new one in her place. But everything else has been good. But the season as a whole, I've been very happy with. I thought they've
Oh
had
yeah.
great topics each episode. Was this episode 3 or 4?
Let me see here. It is episode 5.
Oh, that was episode 5. Wow,
Yeah,
time's flying.
I know. Yeah, that was episode 5 because we remember the first one was at the end of December there,
Yeah,
with and then the following week they had one real quick on Thursday. So it was like 4 days later we had a second episode. So that was all within less than a week. So that's why it feels like 4 when actually it's 5.
right.
Because we had third one episode was the home one, and then fourth was the one with Ed behind enemy lines when he crash lands on a mysterious planet. So, and they hadn't gotten a new
That's right.
security chief yet. So,
Okay.
and then it's interesting. I love these titles though. We've got Jaloya, which is the first one. Then you have Primal Urges, Home, Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes, and then this one was All the World Is Birthday Cake. The next episode is called A Happy Refrain.
A happy refrain.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting these title names. I wonder what he's
Yeah.
kind of getting at with the title names on these series.
So,
And
something similar to Orville, PJ was asking earlier if we were watching Star Trek Discovery. Neither of it. I'm not. Are you watching it?
no,
No.
I'm not.
I am
I
going
don't
to
have the
admit
CBS
though.
thing.
I will admit, based on the more recent things I have seen, I am a little interested now because I've always liked the idea of Captain Pike and
Yes,
seeing more of his background. I think based on what I'm seeing, because originally they were never going to have Spock. Didn't they
right.
say originally they were never going to bring him in?
Yeah, they said we wouldn't see the Enterprise crew at all. They're supposed to be off somewhere else during this whole
Right.
thing.
Now we have the Enterprise. Now we have Spock. Um,
Yeah,
and just what little I've seen, I think it looks like he'll be a good Spock. Um, then you got Captain Pike and the actor, what's his name, Anson or anyways, forgetting his name. He played Thunderbolt in is it Thunderbolt or Black Bolt in the Inhumans, the one that can't
Black
talk.
Bolt. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, Black Bolt.
he looks amazing as Pike. So I will admit, I think the show heard people like us complaining about season one and refusing to watch it or whatever. It sounds like they really are making the move to try to tie this into the original series.
Well, and it kind of dealt with. I did see the first season. They dealt with the a lot of stuff going on with the crew there.
Yeah.
With the captain they had that they had to kind of deal with because he was
And
not
I
good.
can't stand that Michael Burnham character or whatever.
Well, and she's the star. I mean, she's the main person on this
But
show.
it's
She's first
stupid to
built.
have her as the star. That's the thing. It's as an actress,
Yeah.
she was fine on Walking Dead, but she was no way a lead. She can only
Yeah.
play supporting characters. She shouldn't be a lead. I have no interest in
Well,
this character.
yeah.
But I think to me, at
Well,
least from the commercials I'm seeing, it looks like Pike is becoming the main character, which is what I'm hoping. Because I'd like to,
well, that'd
if
be a
it's
good way to
about
go.
Pike and that stuff, and takes the series up to the original pilot episode, I would be interested in that.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the cast here for this second season. I guess the Spock was a voiceover in that first episode by Ethan Peck. They have Sarek. Sarek's been in it for a while, and Sarek kind of has always popped around the entire Star Trek universe. So he's kind of that go-between when you don't want to
Well,
bring
they've been
Spock
showing.
in, but
I
you still
thought
want to
they've
bring
been
the
showing
Vulcans in.
Spock. Is the bearded
Maybe they
Vulcan?
have.
Is the bearded
This is
Vulcan
the
Spock?
not that I'm aware of. Again, I haven't watched it, so this is just looking at the cast list on IMDb for the first episode. But I haven't seen anything with who Spock is. So let's take a quick look here and see what they've got. Because I mean, they set up a precedence of him on the original series that he basically looked the same when he was with Pike, and then he left there. So. But it could be. Yeah, there's a guy with a beard, so
Yeah, I believe that's
he's
supposed to be
Vulcan, yeah.
Spock.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
supposed.
yeah, and they're setting up a relationship. Yeah, they're setting up a relationship between Burnham and Spock.
Yeah.
So it is Ethan Peck. So yeah, it is him. Yeah. So uh, yeah, they're just rewriting the entire Star Trek history. It looks like so. You have to kind of
Well,
just forget everything you knew before. So I mean, it's kind of they can call it what they want. This is a reboot completely separate
yeah.
from the movies, separate from the original series, and that. So
Well, but they've never really covered that timeline. So if they are trying to fix it and bring it into the correct timeline, I'd be good with that. But if they're just
yeah.
trying to make it whatever, I don't know, then I don't care.
I have to see. I'm not buying the CBS thing right now. Um, I may do eventually do a trial thing, and then when I want to binge the entire
Yeah.
second season, but I really don't have a desire to watch it all because I watched the first season, and it was okay. There's things I liked, things I didn't like. I just, as a Star Trek fan for years, I'm having a hard time buying into that this is in canon with the original series, like they were saying.
Yeah.
I think they should
I
just say
agree.
it's a reboot and a completely different take on it, and I'm fine with that. So, and I try to when I watch it, try to keep that in mind. So,
Yeah. The only way
uh,
I'll watch it is if I somehow get a free copy, and I won't even bother with season one. I'll skip that altogether, and I'll only watch season two to see how they handle the Enterprise and Pike and Spock now.
right.
That's the only interest I have.
Yeah. So,
Now,
did you
if I
see
remember
Netflix dropped
correct,
a new?
in the original
Go ahead.
pilot, it was called The Cage, if I remember right. Um,
Yes.
Spock is the only crew member that actually gets brought into the regular original series for Star Trek. Isn't that correct?
That the character, yes. Originally, Majel Barrett, I believe, was in that, or no, Nurse Chapel. Yeah, Majel Barrett. She was in that as a officer on the bridge, and then she got changed into working with Bones.
Oh, okay.
So, but really, Spock is really the only character. When they did the pilot, they were like, "No, this isn't working. It was too dry." So it never really aired. I mean, they've aired it since then over the years a couple times, but
See,
they
that's
took
the story I would
the
like to
episode.
hear. Like, show what happened. Like, all this turn because there maybe it was a catastrophic event where only Spock survives, and who knows what. But it would be really fun, I think, to see that storyline that takes us
Yeah.
between what happens in the cage up to Kirk becoming captain. I think that would be fun.
Well, and that would be a good way to go. And you're dealing with a character that hadn't been fully explored. They can do anything you want with Pike. The only thing we know of Pike was during the um, original series with Kirk in that they had the episode. I'm trying to find it. Here's a two-parter. The Menagerie. And Spock kidnaps a crippled Captain Pike, who's actually
Oh,
being
that's right.
treated. And it's one of the best episodes ever done in Star Trek. It was
Wasn't he
a
being
great way
held
to look at it.
captive like for a long time or something?
Yeah, and then also they're actually, it's like they're helping him, and then they at the end he ends up, you see him walk away, but it's actually more of they healed him, these aliens did in a way, but he's not really healed, but
Right.
he his mind will think he is. But it was they took the original Cage episode and used the footage from that as the flashback stuff during the trial of Spock.
Okay.
So it was a very interesting thing on that. So it was just how they incorporated it in because they never aired the original episode. Um, in a lot of ways, it was never fully finished either. So, but yeah, Majel Barrett was in it. She was number one in the cage, so she was actually the first officer.
Oh, okay.
Then you had Spock. He was in that, and then they had John Hoyt was was Dr. Boyce. They had a yeoman, Laurel Goodwin. Peter Duryea was, so different people we don't know. And then Jeffrey Hunter was Captain Pike. So, and he replayed that role again in the episode later on. So, but yeah, this was the original pilot. And then when they looked at it and said, no, this isn't working, that's when Roddenberry went and revamped it, came up with Kirk, added a little bit different humor to it, made it a little more centered on Kirk and Bones and Spock instead of being like a true, like, he wanted it really to be like the wagon train in space. So it would have bounced around a lot within the ship with the
Right.
different stories going on. And they wanted it more focused on the main people.
According to Jay Brandt, we look much younger on his phone.
Oh, that's good. Jay, you look much younger on my phone right now, too.
You know what else could help you make you look younger? Feeling
Yeah.
better. And our friends at
Oh,
Family
yeah.
Chiropractic can help. Loringer's
Yes,
Family
larger
Chiropractic.
family chiropractic. Yep, I was there yesterday, got adjusted. Of course, with this weather the way it is here in Michigan, the cold weather, you're definitely getting adjusted helps and helps fight off colds and things like that because you want to be healthy and have good wellness and that. But your journey to wellness begins here at Loringer Family Chiropractic PC. They offer on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of items, all in a family-oriented environment. They have a new doctor coming in, as I mentioned in the previous episode, Dr. Krenzoff, studying for some more stuff to become a better chiropractor. So they have, I believe his name is Dr. Tyler, going to be starting in the next couple of weeks. I have not met him yet. Looking forward to meeting him. But if you're looking for a great chiropractor, give them a call in their Belleville location. They're also located in Dexter, Michigan, as well as Belleville, Michigan. But call them Belleville, 734-697-4244. Visit them at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com. We also have a link at oddmusings.com where you can check out all our great sponsors.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned it, getting adjusted in this weather. We are in the midst of the polar vortex. Temperatures are minus 30
this is
to minus
crazy.
40. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's actual air temperatures in Chicago I saw 2 hours ago were like negative 20. That's before the wind chill.
And they're right up by the water. I think I heard it might get down to minus 50 with the wind chill there.
With the wind chill, yeah, and we should see continued around negative 37, but our temperature is steadily going to be dropping as it goes on the rest of today.
Right.
We're looking at, I think, negative 18 is going to be the ultimate low for it. Today is what I saw on the news today. Tomorrow, it's supposed to start warming up in the morning. We're looking at a high of 1. But then we go by Sunday, we're at 40-something degrees.
Which is going to feel so hot. It's going to feel 70 degrees warmer.
It is, yes. They're talking a 70-degree swing. And we're going to have 40s on Sunday and Monday. Tuesdays looking like high 30s. we're hitting February starting on Friday here because today is January 30th and we got February 1st on Friday. So we're through kind of the bulk of the winter. I mean, February is always a tough month, anyways. And once we make it through that, they always talk about March coming in like a lion, going out like a lamb. Hopefully, we have that this year, and it is a little more calmer than what we're getting right now. So,
And as you can see, I'm being
we've
very
had a good
optimistic
winter. So.
with the picture behind me up there. There's my
Yeah, I
view.
see that. Yeah, I wish I had that view right now, drinking my butterbeer, which I've already drank. So,
you and your butterbeer. I just got water.
well, I got one of those too since I went through my butterbeer already. So,
Yeah, I did have to run out briefly this morning, and it's a cold one, so you definitely bundle up and be careful out there.
Well, Mom's out right now. Mom had to. Her friend had a appointment. She needed someone to take her to. Minor procedure, nothing big deal in that. So Mom's there with her right now. She left early enough so she could get the car started, keep it warm, and she texted me they're at the hospital, and I expect to hear from her in a little while that they're on their way back home. So nothing big deal, but she's out in definitely that bitter cold, and it's not a good thing. So if you don't have to go out, stay home.
So yesterday there was a big event that Ashley wants a butterbeer too. She's saying.
Hey Ashley, I've lost enough weight. I can ride those rides with you now. We need to go back to Universal.
That's true.
Yep.
There was a big local event that occurred yesterday that I was able to partake in, which I shouldn't have, but I did. There's a new Krispy Kreme that opened up around the corner. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. You would think people never heard of a donut before. There were so many people there.
But it's Krispy Kreme, and they were hot. The sign was probably on.
They were hot. As I was waiting, they were giving us the donuts as they came off the conveyor belt, and they would just melt in your mouth. So it was good. I was bad, but the good news is I downloaded a calorie counter. So I was able to preemptively count my calories and plan for it. So I was able to eat 7 Krispy Kremes last night. And still make my calorie count. So I was so the calorie counter came in for a lot of help there. I don't think that was the intended purpose, but
yeah. Well, it sounds like me the other day. Sunday night I had to pick up some things, knowing I wasn't going to work on Monday because of the snow that was coming. And so I was like, okay, just need a couple things, basic stuff. But of course, I've been working all day at this point. I put in like 13 hours, so I wanted extra hours in to make sure I had my money built up ahead of time, knowing I'd have less days this week. So of course, walking around hungry is the bad thing. Yeah, I got the eggs I needed. I got a couple other things. Oh, look, there's donuts. Oh, hey, there's ding dong. Hey, let's buy one get one half off. Oh, I need some chips. I have some dip at home, and oh yeah, this looks good. Oh, here's some cheese with pretzel, Snyder's things, and these look good. So yeah, I blew it myself too this week.
Ashley's calling me out on the Krispy Kremes. I did the math. They're listed at 190 calories per Krispy Kreme. So
that's almost 1,400 calories.
But I did work out, and I was, according to the app, I was allowed 2,400 calories for the day. So
okay,
I made it work.
Well, there you go. Well, and I've heard different people say that while you should try to eat healthy, realistically, calories are calories if you're getting a lot of exercise in because you're burning through it fast enough anyway. So
yeah. So I enjoyed them, and there's 3 left in the house here, and I'm highly tempted, but I'm like, no more. I can't do it.
I haven't had a good Krispy Kreme in a while, so I got Intamins the other day, and they were good.
Yeah, not the same though.
No, they're different. It's kind of like Donna's Donuts. I'm gonna miss Donna's Donuts this year up in Flint because he had to move their show, and it's scheduled the same weekend as Gem City. So
right. And then another event that happened this week was the Shuttle Challenger explosion, 1986.
Yeah, it's 33 years
33.
now.
33.
I know you posted where you were at online. I was walking into the office. I remember walking into the school's office. I was taking whatever school has. I remember taking like a packet in to drop it off, and it had just happened. And they had a radio on there, and I heard them say the Challenger exploded. They made an announcement like about 10 minutes later over the loudspeaker and that was just that's heartbreaking because I really followed all the shuttle launches from the very first one up through around not too long after that.
Right.
because I always found it very fascinating. I've always been into the big space race and stuff like that, um, and it wasn't even so much that there was a teacher on board, which definitely was heartbreaking. The first teacher in space, and it was just the whole thing. And I remember reading for months and months as they were trying to figure out what happened and everything else, and it came down to a gasket, basically an O-ring, was faulty, and
Well, and the problem was they
and in
launched
some
and it was
ways,
too cold, which
yeah, and it's
an
they
engineer
weren't weatherized for it.
and they were warned by one of the engineers. It's on record that he warned them not to launch, but they went forward anyways. My understanding is part of the problem is Americans as a whole stopped. They weren't really caring about the space program anymore. The shuttle was old news at that point for a lot of people. I mean, we were young, so for me, I was fascinated. But like, people weren't watching the launches like they were before, and
Yeah,
so they were
that
coming
had
up with
gone down quite a bit. I watched them when I could. I remember
yeah.
coming home if they launched in the day. And I was at school. I come home and watch the news so I could see the launch.
Right. But people as a whole were stopping, ratings were dropping on that. So they came up with this idea of putting a teacher in space to try to revive interest and get people wanting it. And at the time, because
Yeah.
Florida was having a cold wave hitting it, they canceled the launch multiple times. And so they felt like they had to launch because they had all the TV crews and everything, and they didn't want to delay it anymore. And unfortunately, they forced the launch to happen, even though there are some engineers on record saying don't launch it. And
Yeah.
we saw what happened. The O rings were the almost like the rubber seals that go between the plates of the fuel system. And with it being so cold, that rubber didn't flex to keep the seal, and fuel started leaking out, and then it caught fire, and ultimately the
Yeah.
flame went into the rocket and blew it up. So we know that now. But do you remember too the watching the recovery? Like they were pulling out all those pieces from the ocean and then
Hmm.
reconstructing it. Remember they had
Yeah, I
that
remember
giant
that.
warehouse?
Yeah, I remember seeing they showed some of that. They couldn't show a lot of stuff. But the interesting thing was when they did finally find the front of the space shuttle. In fact, it was intact,
It was intact.
uh, and they were all still there, which was interesting. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it was heartbreaking.
it's believed they actually survived all the way till it impact on the water. So,
Yes.
and supposedly there's actually audio of that NASA has from inside the cockpit, but that's never been released. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I
But
guess if it is true, I don't expect to ever see it released because I'm sure what they were saying was something that we don't need to hear.
right, right.
Um, it could be them screaming crap. It's probably them cursing and letting and saying, hey, this is not right. What's going on? We're falling.
Well, from
You
their
know.
point of view, they probably couldn't even. I would imagine you just. I don't know if you could even tell what was going on. I mean, or yeah, I don't know. I would think first of all, you're feeling so many G's going up anyways. I don't know if it would feel any different falling down. You know what I mean?
Well, they come down pretty quick, so it's once it popped up, they just go straight on down, and uh, it probably wasn't very long for them to actually hit the water. So.
Well, it was 2 or 3 minutes. The
Well,
fall.
yeah, and
Yeah.
realistically, that's not very long. I mean,
No, but
it's
all I'm saying is from where they're seated, the feeling of going because they were already feeling so many G's going up. I
yeah,
don't know if you would feel different falling down. You know what I mean? So they might not even have known if they were going up, down, or sideways at that point.
that's true. They may have been vertigo when it taken effect, and they didn't know they just felt like they're still rising. Next thing you know, they're impacting.
Yeah, who knows? But scary to think though they were
Yeah,
possibly conscious that whole way.
yeah, and that was the first shuttle tragedy. I mean, we've had another one since then, and
Yeah.
of course, the program's been ended for a long time. And now we're in the age of leading up to eventually private space flight. SpaceX and other companies still
The
trying to do
irony
that.
is
So
our space program was gutted by Obama, and we now hire the communist Russians who don't believe in capitalism, but they have capitalism for their space program to fly we pay for our astronauts to use their rockets to go up.
That's like $20 million a person for that too.
It's like we won the space race and now we use the losers as our taxi service. What is
Yeah.
wrong with that?
I don't know. I mean, that's where, hopefully Elon Musk can get his stuff going, or even
Yeah.
Richard Branson with his Virgin space program too.
I did see they were announcing also one of those companies were putting together a space hotel right now. They're looking at
Probably Branson,
probably
That guy's
could be
awesome,
either of
yeah.
them. It always seems like one of their names is attached. But
Yeah.
also
Well,
talking
they're the
about
two
the
main
shuttle,
players.
in that time frame and in space now. Do you remember Omni magazine?
Yeah, I believe it's still out there.
Is it? I remember I would always get those, and they would always talk about like what the space program would be like by the year 2000. And it's hard to believe we're now 19 years past the year 2000, but they were talking about we were going to have a moon base by now. They had all these plans where when the space shuttle would launch, that large external fuel tank, they were going to have
Yeah.
plans where they would leave them up in space and collect them and then form them into a ring, and each one of those fuel tanks would become a pod, and they would start growing like crops in them, and like one would be agricultural, one would be living, one spaces, and it would form this ring and how it would spin to create artificial gravity, and we were supposed to have all of this stuff by the year 2000.
Well, I
Where
pulled
are
up that
we?
your space. Yeah, I pulled up your space hotel thing. It's done by CEO Frank Bunger of Orion Span,
Oh,
and the pictures they have on here, it looks like it could have been taken from that Omni magazine you're talking about, where it looked like that big tank, and that's what they're going to use to set up the hotel. So
okay. So there.
yeah,
I used to
but
always enjoy reading all
switching.
those magazines, but none of it has happened. It's
No,
it's
but I'll
kind
tell
of
you what they
sad.
need to do though. If they are going to have this hotel, they need to get someone like Jill Webler to do the decorations for.
Oh, there you go, because she's with Beautiful Home Makeovers, which if she could
Yep,
design that, she could also design your house. So give her a call. You
there
can
you
look
go.
her up on Facebook at Beautiful Home Makeovers by Jill Webler
Yep.
online, or go to our Odd Musings page. We have the links there to her website. But yeah, she does. She does Christmas decorating. She does holiday decorating. She does wonderful wreaths. She was just talking the other day. She's thinking about doing a bunch of spring-themed wreaths. So if that's something you
Oh,
would be
okay.
interested in, look her up. Once again, Beautiful Home Makeovers by Jill Webler. Look that up on Facebook. Follow her. And
Hmm.
if you're looking at renovating your home for the new year here, she can help you pick out colors and carpeting and all that. So you can hire her for any of those kind of needs you have. And once again, it's Beautiful Home Makeovers by Jill Webler. There you go.
Yeah, another one of our great sponsors.
Yep. Also a teammate of mine with Team Titans. And I
Yeah.
have to give a shout out because it was her birthday yesterday. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jill.
Happy birthday. So
She turned 29 again.
29 again. Wait, 29 again. No, not 29 again. That would make her 58 years old, wouldn't it? 29 twice.
Okay. I didn't say add them together there, Scott. Jeez. There's no way she's 58 years old. She's got a long ways off for that.
See, I always thought like 21 again meant like 42 because I've now been 21 twice.
Okay, there you go.
Any other
I'm
sponsors
just
we have to hit
47.
before the show ends?
No, well, let me look here, make sure we're not missing anybody. I think we hit our key
I think we
sponsors
got
here.
everybody.
Yeah, we talked about Great Lakes Comic Con. We talked about Lorangers. We mentioned Team Titans and Beautiful Home Makeovers by Jill Webler.
Awesome.
In that, hopefully, we'll be back in studio next week. Did you see the new trailer for Netflix's Umbrella Academy dropped this week?
No. What is it?
Yeah, based on the graphic novel. It looks great. It launches February 15th is when the series drops. So about 2 weeks away. So maybe we'll have to look over that trailer, talk about that. The new How to Train Your Dragon. They're actually doing a preview screening this weekend. I'm not going to see it because it didn't fall in line with my schedule. But that's coming out in a couple weeks. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to see that. We can talk about that in a couple weeks too. They've also got the teaser on Amazon Prime for The Boys, based on the graphic novel The Boys.
Oh, also, I'm going from memory, which can be scary.
Yep.
This weekend is the Super Bowl.
Yes, on Sunday we have the Los Angeles Rams losing to the New England Patriots. I mean, I'm sorry, the Rams and the Patriots will be meeting in the Super Bowl.
And if I remember correct, they announced, I think they are doing a Star Wars Episode 9 commercial.
I shared something on Odd Musings about that, and then I saw something afterwards that says it may not happen now.
Oh.
So I'm hoping it does, because they just posted that was it Anthony Daniels just finished filming all his scenes as C-3PO for Episode 9. So this technically could be the last movie with him as C-3PO, depending on what they decide to do going forward.
It could be. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, if anybody's going to play the role, he will.
If they're smart, but they haven't proven to be yet. As long as Kathleen Kennedy's there. But if they're smart, because of the actors who are in them, you keep Chewie, 3PO, and R2. Because those are characters who have lifespans that can transcend a normal timeline and can be the unifying factor for, even if you want to jump 50 years in the future. Wookiees live many hundreds of years. Droids, as long as they're maintained, could theoretically keep going. Then they could get upgrades or whatever. But you could keep them as the unifying characters. So that's
kind of how it's always been from the prequels through. I mean, pretty much we've seen 3PO in every Star Wars movie. For the most part. Except Solo. Solo is the only one. That's only because they never crossed paths in that.
Right. But and that's actually the only, everything else. Anytime C-3PO has been involved in any storyline, whether it's the audiobooks, any of the cartoons, any of the movies, any of the TV series, anytime 3PO's been there, it has been Anthony Daniels himself doing the role, whether voice or.
I think it's great, and he's always said he will continue to do it as long as they want him,
and he's amazing with the fans when he does shows. He always loves to perform for the fans, so that's really cool.
One of my favorites was the first time I did a Steel City show. This was back in around 2008 or 9, I believe it was. He was directly across from me where we were set up at. And he was hilarious because he'd come out and there was a line already, and he was taking blue painter's tape and marking, and telling people, don't cross this line, stay right here. And the whole thing was a performance. It was hilarious. But he had a reason for it, too. It was one, it kept them all entertained as they got the table ready and stuff like that. And he also was able to say, this is how I want the line to perform. And he would bring a person up. So that way, each person that came up didn't feel like they were cramped with somebody right behind them. They had their 30 seconds to a minute with him. So they felt that. And even with on Sunday morning, he set up was there at 9:30 instead of 10, so that way the vendors and artists that were set up there had a chance to meet him and get an autograph, which I did, and it was great to meet him on that.
Which is rare.
And then also when he went to
usually
it's rare anymore. He still does.
Well, usually we get ignored as vendors and artists at a Comic-Con. Nobody.
Right. It was great that they did that because and then the easy one was when he wanted a break from signing, he didn't leave and he went to lunch, I think, real quick, came back out. He would wander the floor with an R2 unit and take pictures with people on the floor. Now, this, of course, probably wouldn't happen anymore because they've changed so much on how conventions are done. So this was over 10 years ago. But, he's always every time I saw him after that even, he was always like that with the fans and would come out and would wander. And if he didn't stop to take pictures, he'd tell them, oh, you can take a picture of him walking by, but I'm not posing.
Right.
And some people, I heard a couple people comment one time, they said, oh, he seems so uptight. I said, no, if you listen to what he's saying is he's acknowledging you. He's letting you know what's going on there. You can come see him at the table, but he's wandering around and still not saying, don't bother me.
Right.
He's just saying, I've only got a few minutes here and I just want to stretch the legs a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So he's done filming. We'll see what happens. Also, one last bit of news. Poe Dameron. Oh God, what's his real name? Jason Isaac. Oscar Isaac. Jason Isaacs was in my head.
Yeah, that's Malfoy from.
He's playing in the upcoming Dune movie. He's playing the role
Yes.
that Sting played.
Yes.
Hopefully, he gets a better wardrobe than Sting had. Wasn't Sting like just in underwear?
Pretty much.
So
That's
I
going to
have
be
to
an
admit,
interesting. This is yeah, this is the third time they've done it. They've done the original Dune movie in the '80s,
you know,
which is it's an okay movie. I own it and I've watched it over the years. And
I've always felt it's the most overrated franchise. I just cannot get into that movie at all.
the movie I'm fine with. I never could read the books. The books are like
Yeah.
this thick, and I just never could get into them. They were just
Uh,
way
I
too
just
much.
I always felt like the
Um,
movies were, to me, it looks more like a fan film. The way the costumes are, I don't know. Nothing about it I like.
yeah.
It's just not for me. So I don't know. I don't understand why they're
So
remaking it.
well, the Sci-Fi Channel did Dune and then Children of Dune miniseries, and those are actually really good.
Was it? I never watched
So
it.
I'm interested to see how they do this with the new movie. The problem with the original movie, and I felt this even then as now, is why I enjoyed it in some ways. It feels kind of dry,
Yeah.
uh, and no, there's no. That's not a pun intended because they're on a desert world. It's just,
It
but
feels
it was
kind of like Watchmen, like the
yeah,
movie Watchmen. It's a slow, long movie.
yes, and that was the hard part on it. And that, but there's things I enjoyed about it, and it was interesting for the time. So I'm interested to see how they do it. Hopefully, they do a really good job. But it's like Lord of the Rings, and that they're always trying to revisit these stories. I felt Peter Jackson did a great job with the movies, but now we've got coming out in the year the Amazon series, where they're basically remaking the books again and form on there. So I'm kind of
Yeah, we'll see how
not
that goes.
excited about that.
That's got a $500 million budget.
Yeah, well, they're calling that Game of Thrones fan base, and
Yeah,
since Game of
they're
Thrones
really
is
going
ending here
after that
soon,
market, so we'll see. All
yeah,
right.
hopefully they can come up with something new. But yeah, we've covered a lot. So next week, hopefully, we'll be live back in studio because I haven't seen you in person in over a month.
I know. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, we'll be back 10 o'clock next week, even if we have to do this again. But I think weather's going to be good enough for us to make
We
it out
should
to
be
the
able to be
studio
back
next
in
week.
studio.
Yep. So
Awesome.
until then, I guess that's it. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.